Hey everyone, tonight I'm going to tell you a true crime story in a soft, gentle voice, perfect for drifting off to sleep. Imagine this: a small, half forgotten campground hidden deep in a national forest. Pine trees crowd the sky, and the mist rolls in so thick that even your flashlight seems shy about cutting through it. Somewhere out there, a camper sets up his tent. He never comes back. Before you get too cozy, please take a second to like this video and subscribe, only if you truly enjoy what I create here. I'd also love to know, where are you listening from tonight and what time is it there? Now turn off the lights, let your fan hum a soft white noise, and let's begin tonight's journey together. You zip up your jacket against the sudden drop in temperature. It's late October, and even though the ranger station swears the trails are safe, there's something about the hush between the trees that makes your scalp itch. Your boots sink into damp leaves as you follow the narrow path to where they say he pitched his last camp. Back in 1998, Daniel Rhodes, a freshly minted college grad with a camera and too much confidence, drove his rusty Subaru into this very forest. He'd told his mom he needed one last night alone with nature before moving to the city. He bought a new camping stove and borrowed a local ghost story from the bait shop's cashier. Small town rumor, decades ago, a lumber camp here was abandoned overnight. No one agrees why. Some whisper murder, others blame poisoned well water. That's your first fact for the night. In the early 1900s, it wasn't unusual for American logging camps to vanish in a season, entire crews pulling out if timber yields disappointed or if accidents turned ugly enough. You can almost see Daniel now, 24, wiry, ponytail tucked into his hoodie. He snaps photos of tree trunks. He scribbles notes about mushrooms. He checks the sun and sets up camp right beside the old trail that locals avoid. You can't help but smirk at his journal entry found later. Night 1, so quiet I swear I can hear my own heartbeat bounce off the bark. I mean, who writes that without tempting fate? As you rest your head, imagine the last flicker of his campfire. Somewhere between the crackle and the rustle of a raccoon stealing his granola, Daniel vanishes, tent flaps open, boots left behind. A strange tidbit. His camera was found a week later, wedged high in a tree about 40 feet off the ground. No one climbs that high in the dark, unless you believe in forest giants, which, let's be fair, is not exactly peer-reviewed science. Here's something the local college still debates. Did Daniel wander off for better shots and get lost? Or did the forest take him? Hikers argue about it every summer while toasting marshmallows a respectful mile away from his last campsite. Funny, right? Humans will scare themselves silly and then build a campfire to feel safe again. Don't move just yet. Stay comfortable. We're only getting started with this forest's secrets. Your breath puffs out in tiny clouds as you imagine stepping deeper into Daniel's path. The sun dips low, the undergrowth grows thicker, and suddenly every twig snap feels like a confession whispered straight to your neck. It's the same uneasy crunch that park rangers felt when they scoured these woods for him. 3 days, 40 volunteers, no trace but that camera. By day 2, searchers started murmuring about the echo spots, little pockets where sound ricochets so oddly that your own footsteps seem to circle you. Locals say the loggers noticed them too. They called them dead ears because a man could scream and the trees would swallow him whole. Historical note for tonight's pillow talk: acoustic shadows are real. In forests, dense trunks and rolling terrain can bounce and dampen sound, disorienting even the best rescue dogs. During World War II, armies used this phenomenon to hide artillery blasts. Nature hides more than you think. Picture yourself pausing by a half-collapsed logging shack, rusted nails, a few boards holding back centuries of moss. Inside, you spot an old tin coffee can, a single boot too big for Daniel's foot, and faint scratch marks along the doorframe, as if something bigger than raccoons claimed squatters' rights. You chuckle softly. If your friends back home knew you were poking around this ghost site at dusk, they'd say you deserved a horror movie ending. But you're brave, right? Or maybe just sleepy enough to feel braver than you are. Rumor break, one bizarre fact that fuels this campfire tale. 2 years before Daniel, a hunter claimed to have seen a man-sized thing, pale as moonlight, moving between trees. He swore it watched him pack up his kill. The sheriff filed it under unverified wildlife sighting, but hunters still leave offerings, a strip of jerky on a stump, just in case. And yes, before you ask, skeptics roll their eyes at this so-called forest watcher. Some say it's just a bear, some say it's shadow and fog playing tricks. A few brave souls suggest a stranded hermit, though no one's ever found a shack with smoke curling out of a chimney. You step back onto the path, crunching twigs, your mind replaying Daniel's last photos. Blurry trees, a single shot of the moon through branches, and one image the police never released to the public, because rumor has it, it shows a vague shape right behind him. A shoulder? A face? Nothing that a pixelated zoom can't argue over for decades. Academic point to ponder as you drift off. Is it possible that in a place this deep, people don't really go missing? They become part of the place itself? Folklorists and anthropologists debate whether the human mind projects monsters onto wilderness, or whether wilderness simply absorbs whatever steps too far into its hush. Don't think too hard now. Rest your eyes. The trail ahead gets darker, but you're not alone. You have my voice and your heartbeat, steady and warm. One more tiny joke for your dreams. If you hear a twig snap tonight, don't worry. It's probably just your imagination, or your cat, or maybe Daniel coming back to borrow a flashlight. You breathe slower now, your blanket a forest floor, your pillow a soft patch of moss beneath the pines. In your mind, you follow the search party's last desperate push. Volunteers line up shoulder to shoulder, stepping through the brambles where Daniel's footprints turned to nothing, literally nothing. Not washed away by rain, not muddled by animal tracks, just gone. One old ranger who'd worked this park since the 70s told a rookie at the time, "Kid, sometimes the woods keep what they want. Mark my words, we'll never find that boy, not whole anyway." Morbid comfort, huh? It makes you wonder, do we ever truly walk away from places that scare us? Or do pieces of us stay behind, haunting the roots and stones? Tonight's historical fact to settle into your dreams. The concept of wilderness-devouring man isn't new. In colonial America, settlers feared the deep woods so fiercely that entire sermons were preached about the devil's forest, lurking just past their fences. And yet, fast forward to today, we pay for cabins, rent kayaks, and set up GoPros, hoping nature will accept us like a friend. You push deeper in your mind's eye. Night falls hard and fast here. Your lantern flickers, dancing shadows over twisted tree limbs. A low wind moans through the hollow, raising goosebumps on your arms. You find yourself standing by the blackened remains of Daniel's campfire. The stones circle empty air like an unfinished sentence. One odd little aside, decades after Daniel, a pair of amateur ghost hunters set up overnight where his tent once stood. Their camera recorded 7 hours of raccoons bickering over trail mix, and at 3:12 a.m., a tall white figure passing behind their tent flap. They left at dawn, pale as snowdrifts, swearing off camping forever. Nobody's dared repeat that stunt since. Academic debate time. Does this forest hold a physical threat, a wild animal, an unrecorded sinkhole, or something less tangible? Paranormal researchers argue that isolated wilderness breeds liminal spaces, thresholds where reality warps just enough to swallow a lone camper. Psychologists counter it's stress, cold, and darkness twisting perception. You decide which keeps you up more. Your feet crunch backward along the invisible trail. A branch snaps overhead. Just a restless squirrel, probably. Or the forest, reminding you that stories don't always have neat endings. Maybe Daniel Rhodes is just another ghost story people tell to keep kids from wandering too far after sunset. Maybe he's listening right now, chuckling that no one's found his secret photo stash. One last joke before you drift. If tomorrow you wake up craving s'mores and a new tent, blame this tale. Humans never learn, do they? Stay still, listen to the hush between your breaths. The next part of this journey dives deeper into the theories, the search efforts that never stopped, and the footprints that appeared years later, where they shouldn't have. For now, close your eyes a bit tighter. You're safe here, safe with me, and with whatever's whispering in the trees behind you. Your eyelids feel heavy, but your mind drifts back to the search that wouldn't die. Weeks passed. Winter nipped at the park's edges, but Daniel Rhodes's mother never gave up. She camped at the ranger station, brewing stale coffee, whispering to every passing volunteer, "Check again. My boy is out there. He's clever. He's alive." Even hardened deputies felt their throats tighten at her hope. Some nights, they'd hear her outside by the trailhead, humming lullabies into the dark trees, like she could coax him back with the sound of her voice. Historical sidebar to keep your thoughts warm. The tradition of calling the lost dates back centuries. In Appalachian culture, families would stand on hills and sing into the hollows, hoping a missing loved one might hear and answer. It worked once or twice, more likely when the missing were just hiding from chores. You step deeper now, your boots squelching through a marshy bend the maps forgot. In your left hand, a flashlight flickers. In your right, Daniel's old journal, recovered by a Boy Scout troop years later, pages soggy but legible. Between mundane notes on bird calls, a single page rattled the internet. If I don't make it out, maybe the shadows will. They don't want me here. I hear them at dawn, laughing without mouths. Cue nervous laughter. Shadows laughing? The human brain is a prankster when hungry, lost, and sleep deprived. Experts say isolation conjures hallucinations, and our primal mind loves to see figures in the corner of our vision. Pareidolia, they call it. Say that 5 times fast when camping alone. Your tent flap will never look the same. Let's slip in something peculiar. 3 winters after the search officially closed, a hiker named Josh Porter vanished along the same ridgeline. Unlike Daniel, Josh left behind crisp footprints, 40 yards leading in a perfect straight line to a sheer drop. No scuffs, no hesitation, like he stepped right off the earth. University folklore students dig into this part every semester. One camp says it's classic misadventure, slippery rocks, tragic fall. Another suggests geographic attractors, spots where iron deposits and magnetic fields mess with our sense of direction. A fringe group whispers portals, thin places where the world wrinkles and swallows wanderers whole. Do I believe that? Well, I'm just a storyteller. But the forest loves a good listener. And tonight, you're listening so well, aren't you? Another chuckle to ease your pulse. Next time your GPS reroutes you on a back road, maybe thank it. Maybe your phone's the only thing standing between you and a lovely leafy disappearance. Don't drift off too soon. More breadcrumbs wait ahead. Ranger logs, forgotten trails reopened by accident, and a faint echo of Daniel's name, still rumored to drift through campfire smoke when the wind behaves just right. Stay with me. Don't let the forest hush steal you away yet. Your heartbeat settles into the lull of the forest hush, but your thoughts press on, tracing footprints no one else dares follow. Picture this. 5 years after Daniel's disappearance, the Forest Service quietly cut a new trail to reroute hikers away from Rhodes Hollow, as locals now call the stretch where tents go up, but sometimes don't come down. A ranger named Ellis Morrow led that project. He kept a secret journal, leather-bound, hidden under his bunk. Decades later, his granddaughter found it while clearing his attic. Inside were dry bureaucratic notes, sure, but also scribbled half-thoughts. Heard giggling near marker 12, empty woods, no tracks, but mine. A fun historical footnote. Ranger folklore is its own genre. Across North America, rangers tell cautionary tales of the mimic, a trickster spirit that's said to repeat voices, lure wanderers off trail. Of course, park officials don't put that on your campground brochure. You push deeper in your dream, your flashlight bouncing off mossy trunks that lean just a touch too close. You wonder, if Daniel heard that laughter, did he chase it? Did curiosity pull him past the point of no return? Or did the forest want him enough to shape a voice from wind and leaves? One offbeat local detail. Twice a year, the full moon floods this region in a silver wash so bright you can read by it. Old-timers swear that's when the forest walks. Trees creak more than usual. Shadows appear where the moon should blind them. Photographers come to capture the phenomenon, but leave with nothing more than blurry shapes and excuses about faulty lenses. There's a recorded incident, barely mentioned in papers, of a pair of college kids who stayed out to watch that moon. They returned at dawn barefoot, clothes soaked in pond water. When asked what happened, they shivered and said only, "We walked with him. He's smiling now." They never explained who he was. Academics argue that the mind under moonlight is ripe for illusion. Lunar effect, mild hypothermia, sleep debt. It brews visions potent enough to convince even skeptics they danced with spirits. But then again, skeptics don't camp here twice. Another soft chuckle for you before you yawn too deep. Next time someone tells you to take a moonlit walk, maybe stay near your porch light instead. Rest your head again. This forest is not done whispering yet. Next, we'll sift through the so called evidence, blurry photos, missing ranger reports, and the chilling scrap of audio that conspiracy forums still dissect, second by second. Stay awake with me a little longer. The path grows narrower, and you don't want to lose your guide now, do you? The forest in your mind wraps tighter now, branches closing overhead like the pages of a book you can't put down. Somewhere inside that darkness, you follow the trail of rumors and evidence, though evidence here means blurred film, drunken confessions, and the kinds of scratches on tree bark that could mean anything or nothing at all. One rainy spring in 2012, a hobbyist named Laura Sims combed Rhodes Hollow with a metal detector, hoping for lost gear or coins. Instead, she found an old audio cassette sealed in a cracked plastic bag, half buried beneath a pine's roots. No label, no name, just the soft hiss of tape static, then faint breathing. Then, unmistakable, footsteps crunching leaves, a man whispering, "I see it now," followed by a laugh that doesn't sound like it belongs to just one person. Conspiracy boards online still tear that tape apart, claiming they hear a second voice overlapping the laughter. Some insist it says, "Stay with us." Skeptics, of course, roll their eyes. They call it audio pareidolia. Hear what you fear what you hear. Let's drop in a historical nugget so your brain feels properly massaged. In 1967, a team of Cold War researchers tested fear acoustics deep in the Canadian Rockies. They played subsonic frequencies that tricked soldiers into feeling watched or panicked. It worked. Some fainted outright. Maybe our friendly forest doesn't need ghosts. Maybe it just hums at the perfect, dreadful pitch. You pause your steps, flashlight trembling slightly. On a moss-covered sign, an arrow still points to Lower Creek Campsite, Daniel's last known bivouac. Volunteers replace the sign a dozen times. Every winter, someone snaps it clean in half. A bear? Sure. Or maybe the woods don't appreciate your curiosity. Locals add fresh flowers by that sign. On the anniversary of Daniel's disappearance, no one admits who does it. Plastic daisies, fake candles, tiny gestures to keep the boy from fading entirely. It's human, isn't it? If you can't find the lost, at least you mark where they might have been. Academic point to roll around your sleepy mind. Some anthropologists claim humans evolved to fear forests because trees obscure predators. Others argue forests became spiritual sanctuaries precisely because they make us feel small and watched. Who's right? Flip a coin. Either way, you're sleeping near your nightlight tonight, aren't you? A light chuckle for your dreams. If you do camp out someday and hear laughter on the wind, promise me one thing: laugh back. Confuse the ghosts a little. Fair's fair. You feel your eyelids flutter, but don't drift yet. We have footprints to trace, old ranger reports they tried to bury, and the final theory that no one dares say out loud near Rhodes Hollow. Snuggle in deeper. Let the hush of these secrets lull you. One last piece of Daniel's puzzle waits just ahead, where the forest thins and the truth, or what we dare to call truth, peeks out between branches. You sigh deeper into your blanket, your heartbeat and the forest's pulse tangled like roots underground. In your mind, the ranger station flickers back to life, buzzing fluorescent lights, stale coffee, and rows of dusty filing cabinets hiding more than just camping permits. Decades after Daniel vanished, a junior clerk named Rita stumbled on a folder misfiled under routine patrols. Inside, hand-drawn maps marked with X's no official chart ever showed, plus incident reports quietly closed without public notice. Notes like, unidentified howling near Ridge 4, no canine tracks found, and footprints circle Old Shack twice and abruptly facing uphill. When Rita tried to ask her supervisor about it, the folder vanished by morning. Some say she photocopied pages, others claim she left town within a week, refusing interviews. Nobody ever proved a cover-up, but forums still share grainy scans they swear are hers. Here's a curious side fact to chew on while you drift. During the 1980s, it was common for remote ranger posts to lose radio contact during storms. Reports of missing hikers would sometimes sit for days before the main station heard about them. Some speculate Daniel was just unlucky, bad weather, bad timing, bureaucratic shrug. Others say it was more deliberate. Keep the woods unsullied, the tourist dollars flowing. No scandal, no headlines. Meanwhile, back on the trail in your thoughts, your flashlight beam catches scratches on a birch trunk, 5 neat claw marks at shoulder height, too big for a bobcat, too high for a raccoon. Bears? Maybe. But claw marks don't explain the whisper Daniel recorded on his tape. You kneel to examine the bark. Under your palm, the wood feels cold and damp. You imagine the forest's heartbeat, thumping beneath the cambium layer, patient as centuries. If these trees could speak, would they gossip about the fool campers they keep collecting? A quirky local superstition, hikers passing through Rhodes Hollow tap 3 times on the nearest trunk before dusk. It's meant as a polite knock, an old sign of respect to whatever keeps watch here. Harmless tradition until you realize even the no-nonsense rescue teams do it too. Scholars argue about whether such customs are folklore, coping strategy, or a genuine pact between man and wilderness. If you ask me, maybe it's all 3. Tap the tree, tip your hat, and hope you leave with the same number of heartbeats you came with. A soft laugh for your dreams. Next time your GPS dies on a forest road, just pretend you meant to get lost. Makes the panic taste fancier. Rest easy now. The final piece of Daniel's haunting is near. In the last act, you and I will stand where his footprints should have ended. Except, rumor says, new prints appeared 20 years later, in fresh snow, leading deeper than before. Stay close. Keep breathing slow. The truth tiptoes closer, and this forest, it's listening. You breathe in slow and deep, letting the weight of blankets press you down like the hush of moss beneath a forest canopy. In your mind, you stand again at Rhodes Hollow, this time in winter's bite, the air tasting sharp as cold metal. Snow mutes the world. Each step crunches like a secret, being confessed to the pines. 2 decades after Daniel Rhodes vanished, on a January morning so bitter that rangers could barely work radios without gloves icing up, a pair of snowshoers, tourists from Ohio, wandered off the marked loop. They didn't mean to find anything. They just wanted pretty trees draped in snow. Instead, they found tracks, human tracks, bare feet, 21 prints weaving between drifts before vanishing behind an uprooted oak. The tourists snapped pictures on their flip phone, bad resolution, worse focus, but enough to stir up the old whispers. Historical truth for your sleepy curiosity. Native tribes in this region spoke of the walker, a figure glimpsed during deep winter storms, drifting just out of lantern reach, leaving no trail except when it wanted to. Early settlers folded that legend into cautionary campfire warnings for kids who wouldn't come in at sundown. Over time, the tale blurred into folklore too soft to scare most adults, until Daniel's story refreshed it. You lean closer in your thoughts, peering at the tourists' grainy photos. Some swear they see a shape beyond the tracks, long hair, hunched shoulders, as if a man half draped in shadow leans against the fallen oak. Debunkers laugh, snow glare, smudge on the lens, pareidolia again. Funny how that word keeps crawling back, like an echo through the trees. The Forest Service, embarrassed by sudden media buzz, closed Rhodes Hollow for trail maintenance. They posted polite signs and polite rangers at every access point. For 3 winters straight, no one camped there, officially. Yet campfire rings appeared anyway, half buried under fresh snow. If you asked about them, the rangers shrugged. If you asked twice, they changed the subject. One local curiosity, an old logger's shack near that uprooted oak, rumored to have survived a century of storms. No doors left, just skeletal beams leaning like a drunk's embrace. Teens dare each other to stand inside it at midnight, say Daniel's name 3 times, and listen for footsteps outside. Academics argue whether these rituals feed a myth or chain us to it. Does speaking his name keep him lost or invite him back? A professor from Michigan wrote a paper on this once. She dropped the project after visiting Rhodes Hollow alone. Her last field note read, "I no longer feel welcome here." She teaches marine biology now. Smart choice, maybe. A soft chuckle to settle your breath. If you ever buy snowshoes, maybe test them in your backyard first. Safer that way. Fewer secrets lurking in your hedges. Stay drowsy. This forest still owes you an ending. One more walk among the trees, where the footprints go deeper than sense allows. And maybe, just maybe, Daniel walks beside you tonight. Close your eyes tighter. I'll lead the way soon. The hush grows heavier now, like snowfall thick enough to swallow sound. You stand in your dream where the footprints appeared last. A hollow where pines bend inward, roots coiled around secrets older than any missing person flyer. The air here tastes different, colder, as if the forest saves its deepest breath for those who truly listen. In the wake of the Ohio tourists' discovery, local rangers did one more sweep, quietly without media. They found nothing fresh, but did uncover something older. Under packed snow near that twisted oak, a strip of faded nylon tent fabric tangled around a skeletal root. Lab tests matched the fiber to Daniel's vintage camping gear. No bones, no clothing, just that lonely scrap clinging to the forest floor like it refused to leave. Historical morsel for your drifting thoughts. Forensic anthropology teaches us that in dense woods, even human remains can vanish astonishingly fast. Animals scatter pieces, soil swallows the rest. Still, no one found so much as a boot print back then, only that tree-high camera and a mother's unanswered prayers. Rumors multiply like mushrooms after rain. Some hikers claim Rhodes Hollow never truly belonged to Daniel. He belonged to it, Over the years, campers speak of hearing footsteps pacing circles around their tents. One group, a pair of college dropouts and a stargazing couple, reported something chilling. They heard a voice matching Daniel's YouTube videos, softly saying, "Don't follow me. It's too late for you." They left their gear behind. Rangers recovered their backpacks days later, zippers unbroken, sleeping bags dry and untouched inside their tents. 4 cell phones left, recording the forest's hush until batteries died. Academic debate rolls on. Rational minds blame panic attacks, echoing animals, or pranksters with speakers. Supernatural enthusiasts say it's Daniel, half man, half memory, circling the same loop he never escaped. One fringe theory even hints at a temporal snare, a loop in time snaring the unlucky like flies in amber. A small grin for your sleepy mind. If time loops were real, I'd trap us right here, just you, me, and the soft hush of secrets, forever at the edge of sleep. Cozy, right? You imagine stepping closer to the fallen oak, your breath puffing against bark older than any city skyline. You tap its trunk once, twice, 3 times. A custom you didn't believe in until this dream. The wind sighs through branches, and maybe, just maybe, a footstep answers back from the shadows. Don't panic. This is only a story, or maybe a memory, or maybe a promise the forest keeps whispering to itself. One day, they'll come back. One day, they'll stay. Your pulse softens. In a moment, we'll gather every rumor, every thread, and tie it up in a bow. An ending that might not explain Daniel's truth, but will rock you gently into tomorrow's dawn. Stay close. Keep your mind quiet. One final stretch of the path awaits. You settle deeper into your pillow as the forest in your thoughts unfurls its last secret, soft, half said, and all the more unsettling for it. Picture this: dawn creeping into Rhodes Hollow, the world dipped in watercolor pinks and hushed blues. Rangers gather near the fallen oak, the spot where bare footprints once taunted sense and reason. In their final report, never filed publicly, they recorded an oddity. Beneath the snow, in the soft, dark earth exposed by a ranger's boot, was a single, perfect print. Human, barefoot, deep enough to suggest a man standing still for a very long time, facing the deeper woods, as if watching a path no one else could see. Nothing else matched. No exit trail. No fresh prints leading in. Just that one mark, like a signature left for curious dreamers like you. A piece of history to dream on. Ancient cultures carved boundary stones to mark where the known ended and the sacred wild began. Cross such a stone, people said, and you risk becoming part of the forest's story, forever another whisper in the leaves. Maybe Daniel stepped over his own invisible boundary that night, camera in hand, curiosity louder than caution. Every few years, someone new brings fresh tech, thermal drones, motion sensors, fancy satellite phones. They leave with stories and corrupted files. One search and rescue dog refused to go near Rhodes Hollow altogether. It howled at the tree line, fur bristling, then cowered under its handler's legs. Even the bravest K9 has instincts we forget we once had. A final local superstition for your drifting mind. Hikers who get too close sometimes find a smooth river stone in their backpack afterward. No one sees it placed there. Some say it's the forest's way of tagging you, a promise that next time you might not find the trail back out. Academic voices argue endlessly, Psychology, physics, folklore, and money all tangle up in Rhodes Hollow's mist. But you and I, here under your blanket fortress, know the simplest truth. Sometimes a place just doesn't want to be solved, and maybe that's its best protection. A last gentle laugh before you drift. If your pocket feels a little heavier tomorrow morning, don't worry. Probably just loose change. Definitely not a river stone. Probably. So tonight, if you hear a creak in your house or the wind tapping your window, smile. Tell yourself it's only the forest saying hello from far away. A nod between old friends who share secrets no city street can hold. Rest your eyelids now. Breathe in slow and deep. Let Daniel's trail fade into the hush. Let the trees stand guard around your dreams, tall and patient. Now take one last breath with me. Feel how heavy your arms are, how gently your chest rises and falls. Let your thoughts scatter like dry leaves in a slow forest breeze. There's nothing left to find tonight. No more footprints, no more whispered names, only the warm hush of a world that holds you soft and safe. Picture the pines above Rhodes Hollow, standing still in the moonlight, needles sighing a lullaby only the wind can understand. Picture a single campfire far away, flickering once, then gone, leaving only glowing coals to keep the secrets warm until dawn. Let your mind wander over mossy stones, soft patches of snow, old planks of the shack that still stands, leaning like an old man with too many tales to tell. But you don't have to listen now. Not tonight. Tonight is for sleep. Feel your shoulders drop. Let your mouth curve into the tiniest smile. You've walked deep into shadow and rumor, and you're still here, wrapped in blankets, a heartbeat steady, safe from whatever watches through the trees. If a dream comes, let it be gentle. Daniel laughing by a stream, boots tied tight, camera swinging at his hip, waving at you before he steps into dawn's hush. Or maybe just the quietest dream, you asleep, breath soft, untouched by any forest but the one in your mind. Maybe someday we'll know the truth, but for now, sleep well.